your coaches good, Taylor? Damn. Did you like them?
There was it depended on the team I was playing. Oh, no, I don't really think I ever got like man advice from coaches, but like there was, and like, it's the same way that like you realize sometimes at a young age that you're smarter than your teacher is. Like I remember one, like, cause I played at like my real coach who I like respected for my higher level team. Like when he told me to do something, or cause like that team like had a specific goalie coach. And so I worked with him. And like he was a guy who played in the NHL briefly. And so like when he said, this is how you hug the post, you were out of position for this, that's why they scored there. I'd be like, yep, yeah, 100%. I see what you mean. I'm gonna factor that into my next decision. Be sure I'm hitting both my posts, staying square. And then for my high school team, like it was a guy who had a tenuous grasp of hockey as a whole and no grasp whatsoever of goaltending. And so sometimes he would like tell me to do something in a drill, and I would just not. He'd be like, hey, Taylor, you come out here to the hash marks and collect that puck and like just slow it down briefly so your defenseman can pick it up. And I'd be like, yeah, you saw that on TV. Like that, there's like me skating out to slow down that already slowing puck is impeding the defenseman from maintaining his speed to go around the back of the net. Like if it were firing in and I wanted to keep it from rebounding off the end boards and like being like bouncy or something for him, then I would stop it. But like, I'm not going to meaninglessly like make a move for no reason that takes me out of position. That's only going to get in his way.
Did you have that experience at all, Woody? Like a coach who gave like good advice, maybe for life or beyond the sport or something?
No, I thirsted for it. My high school coach, I can remember there was a girl, Ann Carr, there's a guy, Lyle Server. Like he was like father figures to these people. And I could have used a good adult in my life. And he just didn't seem to be on my side. You might consider being on the top relay team like being a starter. And in basketball, football, whatever, the coach picks the starters and he might use all kinds of different factors in his judgment. But in swimming, it's fair because there's a fucking clock. And if you're one of the fastest guys, then you get on the fastest relay team. That's it. There's nothing to it. He tried to talk me out of my spot. It's like, Woody, it'd be nice if Lyle had it. This is last year. He's a senior. I'm like, I'm a senior too. Like, yeah, but why don't you give Lyle your spot? Like, because I'm faster. I've been faster than him all season. And what happens is at the end of the season, you do a race. See who's faster right now, right? Which one of you guys is the man? And I beat him. Like, I beat him in every fucking race. And he still tried to talk me into giving out my spot that I earned because I'm faster. And it's just like, you are playing favorites and I am not your favorite. That is very clear. Yeah. And I could have used him like, I wish he liked me.
Yeah, that's shitty. That's just bad coaching. Like, are you trying to win or not?
Yeah, this was for states, by the way. We got 5th in the state. This is a team that mattered. And
I mean, it's New Jersey. Yeah. You had the 5th best swimming team in New Jersey. That's pretty. Yeah, pretty
but he wanted to put the slower. And by the way, I was not the slowest guy on the relay team. Like,
that's the other thing. That's what I was going to ask. Like, take Mark's spot if you want us to lose.
I was first or second because on a relay it's a little hard to measure because the first guy starts off the block and then everyone else gets like a flying start, which lowers their time. Sure. And the rule is your feet have to be on the block while he touches the wall. So you're like, 2 yards into your swim in midair with just your tippy toes on the block when he's touching the wall. That's the goal.
Thing,
so it makes you faster. So it's hard to compare all the times, but I was the fastest or second fastest guy on that relay team. And he wanted to bump me off it to put the 5th fastest guy on
like fucking that kid's mom or something.
Because he liked him more.
And everyone else on the team.
How do you as a grown man, how do you like a teenager more to the point where you want to change the
I think this guy got kind of bullied. When he was like a freshman and sophomore from the older boys. And then when it was his chance to be a senior, suddenly this surfer walks in off the street and is faster than he is. Like that's Lyle's maybe side of the story. But I'm like, well, I was faster because I trained hard and I was faster.
And nobody like that wouldn't help Lyle in the long run with his teammates anyway, because everyone would be like, we really need Woody in there to get the points or however it's structured. Like no one's going to be like, great job, Lyle. You lost us the race single-handedly. Like,
right.
So that coach is even putting him in an uncomfortable position where he's like, hey, if So I talked to Woody, and Woody said he might give his spot up. Would you be comfortable doing the 4-man relay? That guy's probably like, what? So the rest of the guys can like bully me for ruining our chances at this? Like that. Yeah. That's just a shitty coach. Like you need to do sometimes, like if you need a win, you need to put the right person in. I remember on my high school team, like I'm not that checked in, didn't care that much, but there was one game in particular that we were playing a team that wasn't very good. And my backup, Jake, like before the game, and I like went in, like I think I'd already played a game like 2 hours earlier for my other team. And so I was like, Jake, you stepping up? You playing tonight, bud? And he was like, honestly, Taylor, I think we need a win here. And I was like, okay, I'll play the whole game then. And it was, and we did get the win, probably largely because of that. But like,
I had a football coach.
Nobody would have been happy with him if he would have let in 3 squeakers and then we lose, 5-4 or something.
I had a football coach who had a traumatic brain injury like the year or two before, and no one had quite yet realized that he was retarded. No. He was hit in the head with a baseball bat. He was assaulted.
Baseball guy.
Oh, assaulted. More of a street fighter.
And he was genuinely somewhat retarded.
Yeah.
This grown man who was coaching our football team.
Over his head gambling.
Yes.
like there was an assistant
poker
coach
in garages.
But we were pretty young, so like it was, you don't really notice as a kid, but I remember hearing my parents talk about it. And so the next time we had like a pizza party at his house after the game, the coach's house, and I was like, man, that lady just wiped coach's mouth. Like that guy he was at his wife's house, like he had been a regular guy, but he had been damaged, and he was coaching us.
Does your wife not take her nurse outfit off after work?
I remember learning nothing about the game of football. I remember at the end of the year realizing I was like, so we're supposed to get, that's the quarterback. Okay. All right. So we should be trying to get him and anyone he hands the ball to or throws to. That was like last game of the year. We picked that one up.
And so you don't think it helped your development? You could have played in the bigs.
I just remember that being the worst experience of my childhood, that stupid football team. It was just awful. We travel around and get beat up.
I had a great football coach who, like, it was just, I only played in middle school. But
that's what this was.
Like middle school football. And he also somehow got assigned by the school to be a tennis coach. And this guy not only didn't know tennis, but from his body language had an active animosity towards it as a sport. And so like he'd take you out there and he wouldn't even go on the tennis courts. He'd be like, all right, everybody, hit it around. And then hit it around. And so we just would kind of structure our own games out there. And he would sit up on the stairs out back the gym, kind of overlooking us. And this is like late high school age. So like the first iPhones that could actually go online kind of, were out. And so he would sit up there and look at his phone and smoke cigarettes. And that was it. If you like, not one person ever asked him like, hey coach, am I serving this correctly? Cause he would just be like, looks fine to me, Brett. Like it's just like he could not have.
We had a ton of teachers with that attitude. It was all of the coaches that had to also teach like some part of a curriculum, and they would tell you, and not just the coaches. They also shop, metals, automotive, and technology. Those electives, they would tell you, hey, we're supposed to spend 50% of our days in those desks over there with those books. We're supposed to take written tests. In reality, what we do is whatever the fuck we want all day, every day in here. You want to weld? Go weld. You want to go sit out? You want to sleep? Sleep. You want to go like chew tobacco out back? Go do it. Knock yourself out. Don't you smoke? I can smell it. Like that was shop. You could do whatever you wanted. It was free hour, and you got an A. That's what construction was too, and that's what automotive was too. You just had these classes where, look, if you want to be part of the program, we're building a cattle trailer over here. It gets auctioned off, at the end of the month, and the proceeds are going back into this fund that we have. You can be part of that. You can learn to weld. I'll teach you. Or fuck off and don't bother anybody. Some kid would go huff gasoline in the shop room. That's what he did.
One of my gym teachers and / a coach from high school, the guy that I think I've probably mentioned him on the show before years ago, that he was a grade A meat gazer. He would like watch us. We're like 14 through 18 or whatever, and we're like showering because like even in gym, like I know some people are like, "Oh,
really get a ladder going,
like,
boys. Let me show you. Come here."
Like, some people's gym, like I talk to some people at other schools, and I'd be like, "Yeah, you guys showered after gym, right?" And they're like, "What do you mean? We just kind of like stood around and we didn't even get sweaty." That's not what our gym was. Like everybody was having a good time, like playing whatever game it was competitively, because it was just all guys gym. We didn't have co-ed gym, obviously.
What?
Yeah, like gym was
obviously.
I thought that was more normal than not, but yeah, we didn't have had segregated gym.
Do you have segregated gym, Woody?
Mm-mm.
Oh, no. Well, maybe, yeah.
Dude,
this is
my boy John Scott popped this fucking 9th grader's nose. Oh shit! Oh, it bled. Volleyball. I took gym 12th grade last semester, so we were dominating. I was 6'1". He was 6'4". I'm fucking setting him up so high, and he would drill from the. He was the pole vaulting champion.
Yeah. See, you guys. No wonder you didn't like have that much fun in gym, because like there were girls that we had segregated.
What I'm saying is we dominated. That was a girl.
You dominated the girl.
That was
we didn't
a girl.
Have that.
Yeah,
girls
are the worst
on defense
in volleyball.
If a girl doesn't want to play volleyball, let her not play. You just stand in the very corner.
She was voluntarily there.
Dude,
yeah, I know. It's just life advice.
They would pull a tarp down, and you know how they'd like split big gymnasiums sometimes with that big tarp. They had a big tarp they'd pull down, and like if you couldn't go outside or it was rainy or some shit, and the girls' gym and the boys' gym would be on opposite sides, and sometimes it would be the same game, and we could like hear how intense our kickball was. And then like if you ever had to go grab the ball from their side, it's like this is just like 7 groups of girls just standing around talking, like not a drop of sweat anywhere on their side of the gymnasium. But anyway, everyone would be sweaty after gym because we had a good time, got very competitive with stuff. And then you'd have to shower because gym was often earlier in the day. Can't go around the rest of the day stinky around the girl. That would, okay, maybe your school was pretty cool.
It was like Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers, a bunch of 14 to 18-year-olds
high school
all showering.
Directed by Paul Verhoeven. Yeah.
But this guy would stand there and he would stare at you as you were getting out of the shower. And he would all his apologists, like who played on teams he coached or something, would say stuff like, he's just making sure nothing gets too rowdy or crazy. Meanwhile, you know what the cigarette smoking guy did when he would oversee it? He would sit in his office, and then if he had to come out for some reason because people were lollygagging and were going to be late, he would come out like eyes like either way up at the sky or way down at the ground, and he'd be like, boys, 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes till class starts. I can't have you guys all being late again. Let's get it together. And then he'd right back in his office. He had no desire. He had no desire whatsoever to sit there and look at naked boys.
Yeah,
it was not in his heart. He just wanted you to get to class so he didn't get berated. He was
resisting into the desire.
This was a good shout out that coach.
For
I like
non-descended testicles and hernias.
Yes. We had that in my school. I don't think they do that anymore.
Dude, he walked around like he was trying to. He walked around like he was trying to like avoid like gore in a slaughterhouse, like even seeing anything. Like he didn't want to see a thing. This other guy though would lean up against the wall, exactly where the towels were hung up, and then he would watch as you got out and dried off, and then he'd stand there and watch everyone. And sometimes he'd even poke his head around into the shower, and like he was a meat gazer. And I remember even at the time, me and my buddies, almost all of us, being like, this is fucking weird. Why is coach always watching us shower and like all this? It's just bizarre. We're 16 or whatever.
That.
No, he didn't. And then some people would be like,
later on became a Subway spokesman.
He later on he gained a lot of weight and then he lost it.
Coach Vogel is a weirdo.
He eventually got in trouble and lost his job for like suspicions of impropriety of that nature. And even now, me and like all my friend group of guys from high school I'm still buddies with, there's one in our group who's like Kyle with Michael Jackson, where this one guy will be like, nothing was ever proven, not one bit of it, not one iota of proof. You guys are just haters. And all the rest of us are like, dude, he watched us shower for years, unnecessary.
Like, compliment your pube, bro.
Just compliment.
Taylor, you've always been top of the class on pubes.
You're doing so great. Well. You're becoming quite a man.
No, he would use like sanitized language. That would make it. That makes it. Taylor, you're developing into such a
Coach,
fine,
please leave the shower. It's just us in here. Yeah, that dude.
He put his hand softly on your chest. Hold on, big man.
Hold on, big man.
You're not too big of a boy to have a little back and forth with your coach.
I checked your schedule. You got study hall now, champ. Nothing to rush off to.
Nowhere to go at all.
Nowhere to go at all. Where's your clothes? Did you misplace those pesky clothes again?
You realize the towel rack, your towel's missing.
Yeah, dude. To this day, like if I'm out, drinking or hanging out with buddies, and this topic comes up, the same one guy, one of my close friends, will always be like, "Nothing was, you guys are just hating on him for no reason," and all the rest of us are like, "That guy was a fucking creep, dude." Do you remember how the cigarette smoking coach behaved?
Yeah.
None of that. Do you remember how a substitute PE coach would behave? They acted like it was poison to venture out there when we were naked.
Taylor, I'm on the other side. I was the creep. We had a course called Jazzercise as a freshman in high school or sophomore. And it wasn't desirable. Nobody wanted Jazzercise. We all wanted to play the cool things like archery and golf and shuffleboard or whatever. But
it's ridiculous.
What's that?
Just so you know, those are ridiculous electives.
They're super cool.
Polo.
I know they are. Like I'm jelly. Like we had none of these things.
But as a freshman, you just run. As a sophomore, you get last choice, and I got Jazzercise. And people hated it because at the end you had to be the leader. That was like the final exam, and you're the guy up there jumping jacks and doing dances and whatever. Mm-hmm. But for 99% of the class, you're just muff gazing the whole goddamn time. There's like, you're on all fours, you're doing that like dog lifting his leg thing. Yeah, you are. that was my sophomore
year. Dude, a little brain blast that this came back to me this very second, is that same coach would sometimes have us do like yoga exercises.
Oh, downward facing dog.
Literally, yes. Like yoga stuff, and he'd like walk behind us while we were I was already sold on my theory.
Taylor, you might want to look this guy up. Let's look at this guy up. Like that, I feel like we need to go down that Facebook rabbit hole and see.
I have looked him up, and I've found him because a buddy of mine who agrees with me on this is like sent this like when this like many years ago when he got fired for supposed impropriety of some, I don't know what it was, and he sent it to me, and he's like, look, I think we were more on point than we realized joking at the lunch
nurse now.
I fucking hope not. I hope he's not working at any schools, but that guy was a creepy dude.
Was there anything suspicious about his post-school activity? Like, did you find something out?
So ice cream now or something?
I could see him, making a lateral move into the ice cream biz. That seems like a serial killer, diddler adjacent kind of thing.
Those things go hand in hand. Once you diddle, like, what do you do with the kid now?
And I also remember this one English teacher in 8th grade would like give the girls back massages in like the middle of class sometimes, and just having a feeling in my head like this is wrong. This shouldn't be happening. Yeah. Why is he touching? Why is this 35-year-old
How old were they?
Well, how old are you in 8th grade? 14?
Not quite ripe yet. That's too young.
You're very young. Yeah, you're too young to be getting touched by a 35-year-old teacher.
Well, I don't care for that one bit. one bit.
No. Man,
this is really. I'm honestly getting a little skeeved out. Like, just the boy thing was bothering me, and now that like I'm a little upset from these stories. I genuinely am, because it's like the worst thing, right?
Dude, you would catch this guy looking at your penis. Like, we didn't make up Meat Gazer because it was funny. He was looking at our dicks.
See, we didn't shower. Nobody got naked. I had co-ed gym, co-ed weightlifting, co-ed advanced weightlifting, like all that shit. You'd mixed everybody together. There were no classes where it was only girls and only guys. That didn't happen. Yeah. Even home ec, like there'd be like 2 or 3 dudes in there learning to fucking make muffins.
Dude, if you didn't shower, you would get bullied for not showering, for being a stinky kid.
Nobody showered.
So everyone was a stinky kid?
I always did. I had gym as my like second to last period, and it wasn't a big deal. I don't know. A bunch of us were going in there, and like everybody was sweaty. And I mean, if we stunk, we stunk. I guess I don't remember stinking.
Yeah, but that's an age where a lot of kids don't recognize they stink
I don't.
yet.
But even now, like, I have to work out so hard to beat deodorant. In my most difficult workouts, when I have sweated through my shirt twice in the last 2 hours or whatever, yeah, I'll start stinking because I've just sweated through deodorant. But just a little 45-minute gym thing in school, because we had AC in the gym. You know, it wasn't that bad. You didn't get drenched with sweat.
We always did outdoor stuff if we had the weather.